Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Cadet Alex Miller. So basically, when things come down to leadership, my involvement within the military and within ROTC and other civilian aspects, they all seem to have the same underlying principles. And when I began to work on this presentation, the key leadership principles and competencies that I've been able to practice and grow through my entire life have been enrooted in me by my grandfather, who had recently passed away this past January when I was at Fort Knox, Kentucky. I was able to get away for 24 hours, come back for his showing, and for the funeral that I was shipped back. So this is very dear to me. So by working out the family farm my entire life, he taught me these lessons. And I was able to succeed and strive for the greater good because he truly embodied these principles and was a living example of what right is supposed to look like. So this is a picture of here in Kentucky while I was giving a class, pretty much over the same thing that I'm talking about you guys today. So his ability to give an example in faith, family, and work allowed me to push through a lot of adversity throughout my life. My grandfather's father passed away when he was 19 years old. At the time, he had children. He had to overcome and operate a huge farm and not only allow it to survive, but allow it to succeed for many years into this day. He was a father of 4, grandfather of 14, and was happily married for over 51 years, which is hard to say for a lot of people, and he died at the age of 68. He acted not only as a grandfather, but by going the extra mile every single day, he was a mentor to me. And he was the one who intrigued me in entrepreneurship, being your own boss, and the health of the economy and being able to contribute, which ultimately led to my business major and also joining the Army. It's too easy to go through life working with your head down, being really good at one thing. But Grandpa always said how important it is to look up to your left, to your right, acknowledge your peers, evaluate yourself at all times, and use your family and friends to create a greater good. He always laid ahead a clear expectation, whether it was for the day or for the year. He taught me the right way to do things, and then he would leave me alone to do that. And he insisted that I do it the right way. No matter how long it took me, it was only as it was done to standard. This tells me that if you're going to do something, you do it right. Everything you do, you leave your name on, and this is where you're building your own brand and building your reputation. This is why when I'm told to do something, I jump to it immediately with enthusiastic and challenge, and also with the right attitude. Doing the right job and doing it consistently is a whole thing in itself, and I find it very, very rare to come across it. I see a lot of people in the National Guard who work really hard for only extended period of time and burn out. And he showed me discipline. By every single day, he would show up before we were able to drive, before we were even able to pick up a shovel between my brothers and my cousins, picking us up 35 minutes one way, 35 minutes back, just so we'd get exposure to the farm and what hard work really was. So clearly this old-timer wasn't on LinkedIn. He never went to any alumni panels. He barely graduated high school. But he had the vast network, and it ran so deep. It was not uncommon for him to walk into any restaurant pretty much within the area code, and for him to call everybody by name that would call him and offer him generously for him to sit with them and eat with them. People that I knew would bend over backwards for him only because they knew his reputation, and at one point he bent over backwards for them. Merely by knowing the guy, people would think highly of you simply because he exuded a presence. There was no such thing as a stranger. He would walk up to almost anybody and give them the helping hand. He displayed respect to all of his peers and people, no matter their job or their profession or any other type of discrimination. He never expected to be treated in any other way than he treated others. By treating my cousins and myself and my family as men when we were just growing up, this instilled a point of empowerment. This taught us that we're responsible for our very own actions and we're responsible for what we do and what leaves behind. His priorities of work were not only key out at the farm, but also putting family first. He would stop in the middle of harvest to come watch a baseball game because we knew that for him going these extra miles and doing these things for us, we would do that much more for him. He invested much more than time and money into us, but ensured that we had the tools that we needed for success for that day, and little did he know he gave us those tools that we needed for the rest of our life. Up until these last few months, he was never known to sleep until past 5 a.m., even during the late nights of harvest. People who wake up early, I believe, are truly more successful. He would never ask me or anyone else to do something he wouldn't do himself, and this is one of the most critical motives, I believe, of my leadership. He used to say you should never be able to spot a captain on a ship because he's working like a slave. And I truly believe that. And once you're able to witness this type of dedication and integrity, and makes it hard to live with yourself if you're not embodying that expectation and that example that he set forth. And it wasn't just his family. He would help a stranger or even an enemy. I witnessed someone who had talked bad about him take land out from underneath him, and him waste his time, resources, not waste, use his time and resources to help a brother out in accomplishing their mission. And that's something that I truly take with me in the Army, using my brothers and taking care of them and making sure we make it home and make sure we accomplish our mission. And this also boils down to being grateful for what we have. You know, never entitled, but always earned. One remarkable thing was how he never once envied a possession. I never once heard him say, I wish we had that, or that'd be nice to have something like a tool like that. He was always grateful for these old tractors that I as a kid only saw as a rust bucket with a list of laundry issues. And the thing was, they were a list of laundry issues. Half of them were just beat up, but he would always get in them and without a complaint, make the necessary maintenance and continue on. During many summers when there was little things to do, after we'd harvest the wheat, he would always say, since we got all this help here, and then it usually followed a task by something no one really wanted to do, which is kind of funny, but it also gives you a lesson that if you have the means and the resources to do something, do it. Always be moving forward. Sun up to sundown, he was always moving much greater distances and faster than anyone of his age. Lastly, I'd like to talk about his family and faith. When I was a child, I asked him if he was rich, not really knowing what a monetary value was. He said, I'm very rich. He said, I'm rich in family and in faith. And that spoke magnitudes to me because I've never heard anyone else say that. He rarely missed church, and he was very tight with his pastor. Often at his funeral, his pastor said that how much quieter Bible talk had gotten, simply because Larry was always able to speak up and spoke of how his beliefs and is consulted with those people whom he knew would guide him in the right direction. He battled cancer till his very last day and never complained about the excruciating pain he had to be going through. He tried his best to remain active and continued to farm as long as he possibly could. He spent over 40 years growing and maintaining, and he never quit. Now moving forward through my life and commissioning into the National Guard as an officer, I'll continue to carry these values that he's distilled within me. And he will always be in the ear telling me to be the best that I can be. To be an example to my platoon or in a management position. Few people get to even know their grandparents, let alone have that influence that my grandfather had as heavily on me. So I hope that today you all take something with you, something that my grandpa gave me as a legacy, and something that I wish to practice throughout the rest of my life. Thank you.